Well, it's hump day.
Yes, sir.
2022 in the building. My man, brother Edward Brown, Positive Choices Counseling Service LLC. It is hump day, Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday, and we are back in a new year. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, man, I am glad to be here. It's good to see you. Happy New Year's, my brother. Hey, listen, normally I try to throw on something to look like I've been in mental health for 30 plus years. Today I'm showing my commitment to my workout. The podcast falls during my allotted workout time. So I'm
Okay.
keeping on my stuff because when I'm done here, I am going to hit the gym.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to show this commitment. I usually do well the rest of the year, but the beginning of the year I do really well. So
Most of us do.
yeah, I'm trying to stay on course this year, man. And I'm gonna treat myself better this year than I did last year.
Hey, we all need to treat ourselves better. I'm
And that's my
telling you.
commitment. Simple as that. I don't have any
Okay.
resolutions, and my goal is to just treat myself better than I did last year.
Mm-hmm.
Because look, we think we treating ourselves good with them extra cookies, and I'm gonna give myself an extra slice of cake, and at the end of the day, I find myself needing to do more cardio, more work in the gym. So this year, I said I was gonna treat myself better. That's just simple as that.
Yeah, that's what we got to do, family. So it is Wellness Wednesday, 100 BLK, the Black Station. This is the podcast. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this with a friend because your mental health
Man,
matters. And we want to definitely let you know that. You can go, if you want to see some of our previous podcasts, you can go right now to www.the100blk.com. There's a tab that says Wellness Wednesday. You can go back and review some of the stuff we've
great
done.
content. Great
Yeah,
content.
yeah, we got some great stuff going. Um, Tonight we're going to talk about how do you come out the holidays and get into the new year and keep your mental health together. Of course, we got to talk about Antonio Brown and what happened
Absolutely, man.
because
Absolutely.
everybody's asking, is that a mental breakdown? Does he have a
Absolutely.
CTE? And I'll be honest with you, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I don't think Antonio Brown been right since he got hit by that guy from Cincinnati.
Hey, Antonio Brown hadn't been right, and that's just us taking terminology. We don't mean anything negative by that. But Antonio Brown has had mental health issues since he was in college.
Right.
There's been personal issues where police was called because he was throwing sex toys at his ex outside her house or something like that.
Oh Lord.
He had a breakdown on camera in regards to being suicidal once. So yeah, he suffered with mental health issues since he was in college. And one of the things that I think people have a tendency to believe is that money solves all of our problems. Success solves all of our problems. We can look at the number of people in show business, in sports, in business that suffer with mental health, with mental health issues, and
Mm-hmm.
realize that money doesn't solve that problem.
Right.
Success, prestige, acclaim doesn't solve the problem. You need help. And what
Right.
Antonio Brown is a prime example of individuals that have to stay consistent with their mental health treatment. When he's on his medication and when he's getting, help, Antonio Brown is one of the best receivers to ever play the game.
Right.
But what you see is what we like to call that mental health cycle, which is when people start to feel better. Then all of a sudden, I don't need my medication. I don't need to go to counseling anymore. And then, just like with any other illness, we relapse. If I don't take my medication for my Crohn's disease, I will have an episode. So I make sure every week I take my medication for my. So it's no different than individuals with mental health and with mental illness. And when you start to look at people in the limelight, we just had the sister. What's the tennis player name?
Right, from Japan. She's half Japanese.
Naomi.
Naomi,
Osaka.
half Japanese, half Jamaican. Right.
That sister said, "I need a break."
Right.
In the middle of a tournament, I need a break. This is too much for my emotional state of mind. And she bowed out. What's the gymnast name? Oh my gosh, she took so much.
Simone Biles. Simone Biles.
She took so much flack for saying, "I need to step out for a minute."
Right.
I'm going, because what you and I don't understand, Joe, and this is what I had to think about with that sister. You and I sitting right here, and we start to have mental health issues. We go and we get help. But imagine if you having a mental health mental health breakdown, and you on a beam tumbling 5 times, and you land on your neck because you're not concentrating. You see, it's a big difference. Antonio Brown is not paying attention to what he's doing and go across the middle and don't protect himself. And so it's different. A police officer.
Right.
Who's having a bout with mental illness and doesn't get the help that he needs. These are situations that could be life-threatening. So I think Antonio Brown and what we saw was just a culmination of different variables coming together. And he had a break. Just unfortunately, his breakdown was in front of millions of people on national TV.
Right. Because let's be fair, honest, and open. Many of us have either wanted to, and some of us have had people who were our employers who said and did certain things that we said, "Man, I ain't working here no more." And we got our stuff. And we walked out, and we said, "I'm done. I'm finished. Am I finished or I'm done? I'm done."
Yeah, we finished or we done.
Right. Mail me my check. I'm out of here. So the thing that I think disturbed me the most, Brother Brown, about the situation with Antonio was how people responded to it. Because once again, we have to understand, we've got to stop passing judgment on folks until we get the whole story. Correct. That man may had a CTE. He has taken some vicious hits in the NFL that may have actually messed with his mental state of mind just from taking those licks like that. So, and don't get me wrong, maybe he does have some qualities that make you say, "Man, there's something wrong with this dude." He ain't the best of dudes. But most people who have those type qualities, what they have is unprescribed mental illness that ain't nobody really sit down and say, "You know what?
Undiagnosed."
Right. We keep thinking, undiagnosed mental illness, that we really sitting around saying, "Man, this dude an a-hole," when the truth about it is he got a mental problem, and we keep on triggering his mental problem because nobody knows he's got a mental problem.
And what's really sad, and I'm the optimist. I've lived my life being an optimist, is that people have a tendency to put their own feelings and their own opinions above the well-being of others. Now, let me show you what I mean. People watching what Antonio Brown did on national TV, if you're a Steelers fan, if you're a Tampa Bay fan, all you care about is winning that game.
Right.
You care about, if you're a fantasy player, all you care about is Antonio Brown may be on your fantasy team.
Right.
If you're better, you may realize, well, Tampa Bay not going to cover the spread without Antonio Brown.
Correct.
So all of that takes precedence over us saying, "I hope that brother's all right."
Right.
Unfortunately, that's the society we live in. We live in that society where our own personal issues take precedence over the well-being of others. That's why you and I, when we got together, we wanted to put something in place that gave people a venue to acquire information. That's what this podcast, that's what birthed this podcast. Let's put out and let's disseminate information that people can use to better the quality of their life. So I would hope that what we can get out today is that think about Antonio Brown and let's pray for this brother. Let's
Right.
hope this brother gets the help that he needs, the help that he deserves, you know, and he can be a better Antonio instead of a better football player. Because at the end of the day, this is the part that people don't think about all the time. At the end of the day, when Antonio Brown never plays another down in the NFL, he's going to be mentally ill.
Correct.
And a lot of those meltdowns that he have won't be on camera. And we have to make sure that we start to look, and like you always say, check on that brother. Check on somebody.
Right.
Call him.
We
Ask him if he all right.
listen. Last time I checked, and even though it kind of calmed down around, it really calmed down around September, October, November. This pandemic, this worldwide pandemic that we're in, kind of calmed down last year around August, September, October, November. People were out in droves. People were going to football games during the fall season. You know, just like right now, it's bowl mania. People are going to the bowl games.
Correct.
However, there is another variant out there, the Omicron variant, which is highly contagious.
Yeah.
And now it seems to be, instead of us coming out of the tunnel, we're getting pushed further deeper into the tunnel.
Cases are rising again. They're
right. Hospitalizations is rising again. And this all plays highly on people's mentals. Not only that, let's talk about another epidemic that is not a viral epidemic, but is an epidemic that is sweeping, especially the Black and brown communities. That's gun violence, and us having to every week bury somebody due to gun violence. So think about this. First of all, let's say you had to bury a loved one years ago due to gun violence. Do you not think that this continuing, turning on the news, turning on the TV, opening up the paper, looking at social media, and somebody saying, man, so-and-so got gunned down this weekend, so-and-so got gunned down this weekend, that this doesn't bring you back to your uncomfortable place?
Yeah.
Come on, family. We got to talk.
I have a very good friend of mine. She started texting me a couple of days ago, and her daughter is pregnant. She has a 20-year-old, 21-year-old daughter who is going to have a baby. And she texted me on yesterday that the boyfriend, the baby's father, just killed someone.
Oh, Lord.
So he turned himself in today. And what I thought about the earlier part of the day, and it's so ironic that you brought this up, I thought about there's 4 lives that's impacted by that one bullet. We have a young lady that is going to start out as a single mother.
Right.
We're going to have a baby that's going to start out without his father. We have a young brother that's going to do a lot of time in jail. And we have a family that's now missing a family member. 4 people, 4 different situations, all impacted by one bullet. I don't think we understand our inability to solve problems without violence and how rampant it is until we see it on the news or until we see it, over sensationalized.
Right.
We have to get to the point where we start to say, you know what? Let's look at anger and how we respond to anger. We have to start looking at it as a problem the same way we had a war on drugs. We have an opioid epidemic. We have a pandemic with COVID. We have had a pandemic of violence. I know I'm using a play on words, but violence has been running rampant in our community for a very long time.
Correct.
And we always seem to come to address it when it hits, and then when it dies down, we kind of disappear.
Right.
I looked at my target words. I always, at the beginning of the year, I pick some words that I want to, use as my foundation for the year. And one of the words, all 3 of the words this year start with the letter C. And consistency is the one that I have at the top. And we do not have consistency with our addressing of certain issues. We don't have consistency in addressing the deterioration of the family. We don't have consistency in looking at voters and the voting rights.
Wow.
We don't have consistency in protecting our women and our children.
Wow.
So I think that one of the things we have to look at is consistency, and that's with mental health.
Correct. Correct.
You know, I have to consistently take my medication. I consistently check on my son and check on whether he's doing what needs to be done with my grandkids. And, you know, I consistently try to eat right. I can try to work out. I think that when we start to look at where we need to go in 2022, it's so hard to even say that, because being a little boy, we thought that was going to be like the Jetsons. We was going to be, we were going to be flying around in cars and, but we are in 2022.
Correct.
And there are some things that as people, we have to start focusing on. Consistency, commitment, and continuity.
Woo!
Those three things we have to focus on if we want to be successful in being the best us that we can be.
Right.
And those are things that I'm going to be pushing this year.
Because in 22, it's all about you.
It's all about you.
In 22, it's all about you.
You have to be the best you.
Right.
You can be. And sometimes it calls for us to look at that picture, and it don't always look real pretty.
Correct.
Sometimes it's kind of distorted. It's not quite how we want it to be. I stand in the mirror and I'm like, So I'm making a commitment to be consistent when I eat right and I work out.
Right.
So I think that, when we start looking at gun violence, when we start looking at mental health, when we start looking at all of these things, the first thing we have to do is be committed to consistency.
Come on.
Now,
and we got to start talking about this.
Oh,
we got to start asking the question, are you okay? Think about how many people who last year at this time had all their loved ones, and how many people have actually, either due to gun violence, due to the pandemic, or due to some unseen circumstances, are no longer a part of the functioning family on this side of heaven. There are a lot of people who have passed on and went to eternity. I had a very good friend that's a DJ friend, just passed away from cancer just a couple of days ago. So, you got to start asking, are you okay? Because the truth about it is, some folks, especially when people leave much earlier than you expected them to leave, and you never want to see a loved one leave, but when people are passing away in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, and even some in their early 60s, you just don't expect that. You like, I see you, if you live to your 70s, your 80s, your 90s, today, the oldest World War II survivor, who is from Louisiana, passed away today. And I think he was like 111 years old.
We can't go without talking about Miss Betty White.
Come on, right. So yeah, Miss Betty White, right. So and think about this. Tomorrow is January the 6th, the first anniversary of the insurrection that occurred a year ago over the big lie that this election was stolen from Donald Trump. So just think about how many people are nervous about what may happen tomorrow with some folks who still feel like we got unfinished business from last year.
Correct. It goes back to what you say all the time, Brother Dupree, is we got to talk about this stuff.
Right.
We have to be able to have communication that does not bring about threatening feelings. Just because we disagree does not mean you need to be threatened.
Right.
I know for a fact my brother that I'm on this podcast with every Wednesday is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Correct.
I born and raised New Orleans Saints. I was my first Saints game. I had a bag on my head. I asked my dad. I said, "Daddy, why we got this bag on our head?" He said, "You'll see in a minute, son." You know. So just because we disagree on our liking of teams, should it be threatening? Should I threaten your well-being?
No.
Because we disagree. We always say in the SWAC, and they'll say Southern is the most fanatic group of fans in the SWAC.
Correct.
But after the game is over, they're going to feed you, and we're going to party the best at Southern.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, this is what people say. I'm talking about Grambling folk and Jackson State folks.
Hey, I
don't know what y'all do to people down there in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. I can testify.
Yeah, they say, I don't know what y'all do to people in Baton Rouge, but y'all crazy about Southern. But I tell you what, y'all sure know how to treat people after the game. Correct. Now, while the game is going on, it's a little different. So my thing is, we can agree to disagree without being disagreeable.
Correct.
You know what I mean? We used to say that all the time in the frat house. We can disagree, and we can disagree without being disagreeable. So I think that what we have to do is look back at mental health. Now, one of the things that I do not want to leave this podcast today without saying is goal attainment and goal setting.
Right.
What I find to be, having been in mental health for the number of years that I have, is people have a tendency to set grand goals.
Unattainable goals.
I challenge everybody within the sound of my voice watching this podcast, set small goals.
Come on. Obtainable goals.
I no longer say, well, this week I'm going to eat right. You know what I say? Today. I'm going to eat right today.
Right.
I focus from the time I get up until the time I go to bed. Because if I start thinking about the whole month and I can eat what I want the next 3 days and say, well, I still got 20 more days in the month, so I'm good. No, let's start setting small goals. Instead of trying to save $1,000 a month, won't you save $5 every 2 weeks?
Right.
And then the more you do that, then you can up it to $10. But when we set big, grand goals, we set ourselves up to not attain those grand goals.
Correct. We set ourselves up for failure.
We set ourselves up for failure. We always say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Come on. So
I challenge everyone to set very small goals. I mean, goals like, today, I'm not going to drink any soda.
Right.
Today, just today. We'll deal with tomorrow when tomorrow comes.
Right.
Today, I'm not going to curse one time.
Right.
I won't say one bad word today. And then maybe it'll go to 2 days. Right. And then a week. And that's where people have a tendency to fail in regards to their goal setting. They set goals too big.
And that's how they fall into depression. Because all of a sudden when you start losing,
failure. I'm a failure.
Right. When you start losing, you get to the place where you're depressed now because why can I not get over? See, somebody blessed me with something. I'm gonna share this with you.
Share.
They showed me a picture of what I thought when they showed me the picture was a beautiful mountain. And so I was looking at the picture and I said, man, this is a beautiful mountain. Whoever was the photographer, I said, how did he get that angle? And so the guy showed me another picture. I said, that's the same picture. He said, yeah, but it's really not the mountain you thought it was. It's just a rock that they had made look like a mountain. Now, here's the crazy thing. The way it looked and from the angle it was taken, it looked like a mountain. It really wasn't even as big as a molehill. It was a movie prop. And he was showing it to me. So sometimes because of the angle we are looking at something, it looks like a humongous objective. But when we look at it from the proper perspective, we see that it's not as big as we think. And the problem is many times with mental health and with people we associate with, like social media, for example. Social media will have you out there trying to be something that is unobtainable. Because believe it or not, a lot of folks will lie on social media.
Oh,
They will
you
post.
can. When you're in your living room, you can be whoever and whatever you want to be.
Right. They will post pictures. You'll think that you'll think they're in elaborate relationships, taking lavish trips, and you'll be trying to pursue actually a lie because they're not even doing it.
Correct.
And so, that's where we really have to start talking about mental health. And I want everybody to know. So this is where I go and kind of switch gears, and then I'm going to come back to my brother. If you want or you need to know about counseling services, Positive Choices Counseling Service. They've got a great deal of services that they offer to help you with your mental health, with counseling. You can go to the website that I have up on the screen and find out all the information you need to know. You can find out what insurances they take. You can find out, can you pay cash? You'll find out everything.
Everything you need. Right?
Everything you need, because your mental health matters. Listen, family, the suicide, we at the beginning of the year. I honestly would pray and hope that at least for the first month of this year, let's have no homicides, let's have no suicides.
That would be wonderful.
Now I might be saying something that's unobtainable. However, if we don't talk about it and at least let people know that they have places they can go when they need help. See, here's how I know Antonio Brown needed help. After he did what he did, the reporter said the first person he spoke to in the tunnel was a state trooper, and he said, "Can you take me to the airport?" See, that's a cry for help. I need to go somewhere. I need to get out of here, and I need to go. So we've got to start looking at the signs that people, when you have a person that comes in a place and they don't want to stay, maybe not for the whole church service. They don't want to stay for the whole play. They don't want to stay for the whole movie. They don't want to stay for the whole event. You might need to, after that person leaves or on their way leaving, say, "Hey, are you okay? Is everything fine?" I noticed that you really don't want to start and stay to the end. So with that being said, like I said, definitely go to the website, Positive Choices Counseling.org. Brother Brown, I will testify. This man knows his stuff. He has a group of professionals that know their stuff. And if you need any type of counseling, from anything from adult counseling, if you need adolescent counseling, if you need child counseling, if you need medical psychologists, they got it all. So with that being said, now I'm going to turn everything back over to my brother Edward J. Brown. Mr. Brown, the floor is yours.
One of the things that I think about is when people think about counseling services, I want to take a minute to talk about that. Sometimes people say, "Well, I never went to counseling because I don't know what to say." Well, one of the things that we learn as therapists is if you are as good as you say, then the first thing you do is just talk to me. I don't need you to say anything specific. Let's just talk. And you'll be surprised once a person gets comfortable talking to you. I call it the floodgates. The floodgates will open. And then they will begin to say, I need help with, what bothers me? Sometimes I get angry when, and before you know it, everything that they didn't know how to say, they say it. It comes out in sessions. And then it's funny because what always has a tendency, what has a tendency to happen is that when you look at a person, you say, "Well, what we'll do next week is," and they look and they're like, "Well, next week?" I'm like, "Yeah, we've been in here an hour and 20 minutes. Really? Already? Yeah."
Right.
Once they get to talking, but see, we have a lot of these young therapists that just want to get in, they want to be counselor extraordinaire. And what I teach my young and up and coming clinicians is that sometimes the client don't even know if they like you yet.
Right.
So once you establish a rapport, you will find out how easy it is for a person to begin to converse with you, open up, and share their innermost thoughts with you. Until
Right.
then, sometimes all you have to do is let them talk.
Right.
And you don't have to say anything in particular. Sometimes they may ask you questions. Well, I had a lady ask me one time out of the blue, our first meeting. She said, "What's your favorite kind of ice cream?"
Mm.
And I was like, wow, that's interesting. And we had a 5-minute long conversation about ice cream. At the end of the day, you know what she told me? "I think I like you." I said, "Well, I'm glad." And that woman went on to have a very, very, very productive stretch with counseling with Positive Choices. And it started all from her asking me what was my favorite ice cream.
Come on.
And we talked about that, and then we talked about her family issues, and then she eventually got into why she was there. And we were able to outline a treatment plan for her that worked out wonderfully for her. So I tell people when we talk about Antonio Brown, whether we talk about Naomi Osaka, whether we talk about Robin Williams, or
Right.
we talk about individuals who struggled with mental health, the first thing is get help.
Right.
Seek help. Don't make a call. If you make one call, that will start the process. Just talk. Just reach out to somebody. And here's what I say: it's a privilege for us as mental health providers to listen to you.
Mm.
Because people say, "Well, I don't want to bother you." Bother
Right.
you. It's an honor that you trust me enough
Right.
to just talk to me.
Right.
And when people are like, you feel honored, do I? Because you could talk to anybody in the world, and you chose me. I tell my students that, the ones that I teach, it's an honor when you're looking down that list and you trying to pick those instructors, and you see my name and you read. It's an honor for me to teach you. That you allow. That's the same way we feel at Positive Choices. There's a lot of counseling agencies out there.
Right.
It's an honor for you to trust us with your mental health treatment. So when we start to talk and we start to listen, it's our pleasure to listen to you. It's our honor that you trust us to take that journey through your mental health experience. And we promise to give you our best.
And we want to let you know, if you go to the website, and let me put the website back up. And this is a great thing I love about Positive Choices, and what I love about technology. Just like we're conversating right now, Edward and I, you can do a telemed or a video med session or a
Telehealth is
video
available.
counseling session.
Telehealth is available.
We they make it convenient because listen, we lose every year, and losing one is one too many.
It's too many.
But we lose far too many folks to suicide, to dealing with mental health issues that honestly, if they could have probably talked to someone who could have at least
That's true.
positioned themselves to be an intervention, some of these folks may not have taken their lives. Many times, it's listen, I don't forget how many billions of folks there are on this planet. But it's sad to have so many folks on this planet, but you feel alone and you have no one to talk to when you have an issue that needs to be talked about.
Correct. We have too many folks suffering with mental illness alone, and you don't have to.
Right.
And this is how committed I am to what we do. I always tell people, if you don't call Positive Choices, call somebody.
Come on.
You know what I mean? At some point, Positive Choices, we are busy. We work. We always have time for more clients, but we're servicing the clients that we have. If you do not call Positive Choices, call somebody, but make sure that person is a qualified mental health professional. Don't call your messy cousin down the street. Don't call your hairdresser. Don't call the bartender. Don't go sit at the bar like they do on television with the bartender. Call a mental health professional, someone that is trained, someone that has been educated in the field of mental health.
Okay.
Qualified help.
So, Brother Brown, I have a
Yeah.
question, and I'm going to post it up here while you're there. Miss Tiffany Alexander Benjamin said, is counseling the same as seeing a psychiatrist?
A psychiatrist is a part of the counseling process. The difference between a licensed mental health professional and a psychiatrist is a medical doctor. A psychiatrist is able to prescribe medication. What I have seen, and I'm just blatantly honest, that's the way we have very few psychiatrists that provide counseling services. Most psychiatrists today are bogged down with doing medication management. Now, notice I didn't say all.
Right.
I just said a lot of psychiatrists no longer provide the counseling side of treatment. They provide the medication side of treatment. That's why we always say it's a team approach. We have psychologists, psychiatrists on staff that provide, we have nurse practitioners on staff that provide medication management. And then we have we have qualified mental health professionals that do the counseling side of it.
Right.
So if you are seeing a psychiatrist and the psychiatrist is only providing you medication, then you need to get the counseling side of treatment.
Right. You need somebody to talk. You need somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
You can't just can't med to numb yourself down.
If you have a psychiatrist that's providing the counseling side of it as well, that's wonderful as well. So what I always tell people, and I'm gonna be real brief with this analogy, is medication is like cereal. Brother Dupree, I don't know what your favorite cereal is, but I'm a Captain Crunch guy.
Okay.
And I can eat it right out of the box. I can watch the game and eat it right out the box. That's the medication side. But if you get some good cold milk and you pour it on that Captain, it's even better. That's the counseling side. So you can have the medication and counseling, which is a holistic approach.
Okay.
It's a team approach. Yes, you can have medication without counseling. I would not suggest it. But I always say it's better if you couple it with some counseling. You can have counseling without medication.
Well, right. So, because at the end of the day, watch this. Okay, I'll give you a prime example. New Year's Eve. I have friends, because I've served many years in the military. I have friends who have to put earplugs in their ears on New Year's Eve and on Christmas, because it does not affect me, but the loud sounds of fireworks popping literally affects them. So some of them,
PTSD, post-traumatic stress.
Right. Some of them have had to sit down. Some of them are getting medication because they are affected so bad that some of them can't sleep. I mean, that right there make them wake up and stay awake all night. So they get prescribed medications to help them sleep, to help them get over the anxiety. But at the same time, some of them don't get any medications, but they sit down and speak to people who say, okay, tell me what happened in Iraq. Let's go through this. Tell me what happened in Afghanistan. Let's go through this. Tell me what happened when you were in combat, wherever you were at combat at, that all of a sudden took you from this place, that these loud noises affect you in this manner. So sometimes, and I'm just saying this, and Miss Tiffany, I would infer, and let me put the website up. If I'm going to do that again, I'm going to do it throughout this broadcast. Go to the website. If you need to speak to one of the counselors, make an appointment and find out whatever your need is. Can they provide you help within your need?
Absolutely.
See, I'm coming to find out, and what I'm really trying to do in 2022, because this is not the only podcast I do. I do a lot of stuff, but I want to do the following with everything I do. I want to provide you the information that you have enough information to make an intelligent choice. Now, the choice to make is yours. But here's my new saying. If you don't know, you can't go. You
Correct.
know, and we've got to be at a place, especially with our own people of color. We're dealing with mental health issues when it comes down with dealing with law enforcement and and sometimes the unjustified killing of black and brown men and women just because they're black and brown. It's not because they violated the law or did something
Correct.
wrong. It's the fear of black and brown folks. So you
Correct.
know, so then you're driving, a police car gets behind you, all of a sudden you have a panic attack.
Correct.
Not maybe you've never had no run-in with the police, but you're having a panic attack because you have been seeing all these images on media telling you that they killed George Floyd, they killed
Yeah.
Tamir Rice, they killed
My
Trayvon
Aubrey.
Martin, they killed Aubrey, and the list go on and on and on and on. You got to deal with that. Tomorrow, once again, is the anniversary of the insurrection. Imagine if you're a police officer
A
at the
Capitol
Capitol,
Police. Yeah.
right, or a family member that what happened? You lost, because people lost their lives last year on the 6th. That now all of a sudden you've got to say, here's the anniversary. It's just like 9/11. I'm
Correct.
pretty sure right now, if a plane gets close to a building and if you
Yeah.
survive, you get kind of funny looking up, going, man, that plane real close to that building. That plane might not even be slightly close to the building.
Yeah.
But you're dealing with the anxiety of the stress of a
Yeah.
situation that you lived through, that you survived. And sometimes you just need to talk. If you had a bad marriage, sometimes you need to talk to somebody. If you had a bad childhood, in your opinion. Now, watch this. Some of us have opinions about what we've been through, but when we sit down and talk to a professional, we find out it wasn't as bad as we thought it was.
Well, it's truly your experience, but what we're talking about is what in the clinical realm we call cognitive behavioral therapy, which focuses on we are a product of every interaction that we've ever been a part of, from our upbringing to our friendships to relationships. You know, I have a friend right now that doesn't go across bridges because she was in an accident on a bridge. You know, I have a friend right now that is deathly afraid of dogs because they were bitten by a dog. So I have a friend who is anti-relationship because the first time he fell in love, the woman broke his heart. So we are all impacted and affected by the experiences that we have. To truly understand how these things are impacting us, you need a neutral, objective individual that's trained in the behavioral sciences that can truly help break it down and put it back together along with you so you can truly understand why you think, feel, and act the way you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember, you know, when I was a kid, I just had very little fear. And even as a man, I had very little fear. And as a result of that, I did some really foolish things. I put myself in situations that I could have easily been harmed. I tell people all the time, you know, I have personal issues and stories of things that's happened to me. And sometimes I share them and sometimes I don't. But I understand now at the age that I am why those things happen to me, why I put myself in those positions. So I think that when we look around ourselves and we look at the environment that we are reared in, these things impact who we are. And if you try to, you know, I see people all the time who try to pretend that they're not something or they didn't come from something,
Right.
and it keeps causing them hiccups in their lives. I'm like, here's the thing. You have to acknowledge where you come from and the impact it have on you in order to leave it behind.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? You can drag a brick around with you, but until you say, that's a brick, and I'm leaving it right there, you're going to drag it around because you
Correct.
pretending it don't exist. We cannot pretend things do not impact. I love one of my favorite things as a clinician is to deal with these brothers who are players. Man, you a player, man. Look at you. Women are for my enjoyment. Okay. Somewhere along the line, you avoiding emotional connection. And why is that, bro? I ain't avoid. Yes, you are. The minute you start liking a woman, you move on to the next one. Why are you avoiding certain things? Avoidance is a defense mechanism. It's what we utilize to protect ourselves from harm, be it emotionally or physical. So I think that when we look at counseling, when we look at our growth emotionally, we have to start looking at what am I going to do to make sure that I'm creating positive impacts on my mental health. What am I doing? Am I talking about things? Am I resolving problems? I tell people all the time, there's very few people who ever heard of Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud was the father of psychoanalytic theory. Brother Dupree, I could talk to you for 6 months about psychoanalytic theory. But guess what? I can give it to you in 5 seconds. Sigmund Freud said life is nothing but a bunch of unresolved issues. Simple as that. Now, we can go into years of research and in-depth thought. Basically, that's what he said. That you react the way you react because you have some unresolved issues.
Come on.
So there are people who question that, people who agree, who disagree. I believe we all have unresolved issues on some level at some point, because we'll do it and we'll look at it differently. You'll say, what's an unresolved issue? When you say, you know what, I ain't worried about that. That's an unresolved issue. I ain't thinking about you. Okay, that's an unresolved issue. So that's just one theory, that has carried over dozens of years. And, but when we look at it, you have to find resources. You have to find variables and people that can help you through this thing that we call life. And with that, that's where you get counseling. That's where you get support. Because here's the thing. It may not always be a counselor. We just said it. It may be that person just calling to check on you.
Right. Come on.
How you doing today, man? Look, every time we see each other, what's the first words out of our mouth?
Hey, man. Man, how you doing? Hi, fam. What's been happening, man? You good? On, you good? You good?
That's the way we greet each other. Every time we see each other. You good? How you been? So, and the sad thing about that, Brother Dupree, is everybody don't have that.
Right. And sometimes
I tell
that's
people all the time, the biggest burden that I carry as a mental health professional is the thoughts that I have that is people out there in the world struggling with mental health all by themselves. They're not reaching out.
Hey, I said it to you earlier. I said it on the broadcast. All these people on this planet Earth, billions of people on planet Earth, and you're literally doing life alone. And listen, I'm not trying, because there's different folks from different spiritual aspects, but mostly every book I know, from the Quran to the Bible to the Buddhist book to the Shinto, whatever it is, to the Kabbalah, say it ain't good to be by yourself. It said listen, they always say, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far,
alone. We were not put here to be alone.
Right. So and something else I want to piggyback off of, and once again, I'm gonna put up the website for y'all, because people need to know that there are people who can help, and people need to know, especially people of color, that there are people of color who look like you, because sometimes we don't want to talk to folks that don't look like us.
That is so true.
So go to positivechoicescounseling.org. When I tell you I recommend them because that's my brother from another mother. Me and this brother, we laugh, we joke.
Man.
It's crazy. Football season will be back before we know it, and we'll be back at it again, laughing and joking about some stuff. But we find things that we talk about and we share, and I'll be coming. Hold it, be exact. I'm gonna be coming to where he's at just to chill out,
Yeah,
to chill out with the brother.
that's right.
Listen up, family. We can help. We can't prevent it all, and we might not can stop it all. But if we just save one, I know that there's folks out there who have went to funeral after funeral after
Yes,
funeral of family member who have passed on to the other side, who have went to glory. Someone went to glory way too early due to gun violence, due to drug overdose. I literally talked to a guy today. He's been to 10 different funerals within the last 45 days.
yeah,
And then I asked him this. I said, man, have you talked to anybody? Are you okay? He ain't talked to nobody. So
yeah,
imagining have to bottle up grief. And it ain't distant cousins that died. He's done had brothers, aunties, best friends, people that he rolled with. To me, you're strong, but I don't know how some folks can just carry all that and not release it. And then normally when they release it, it's a bad release. So,
yeah.
we've got to start letting folks know that A, we're there to listen. B, we know some places that you can go get some help because you need, you know, you need somebody to listen. I've got somebody who just chimed in and she said, just joining Positive Choices. Do you accept children with Medicaid?
Absolutely.
Well, there
We
you go.
absolutely do.
And let me put the website back up for everybody. And I'm just going to leave the website up there for a second. Hold on. Let me take a
You can
comment
go to the
down.
website. We
There,
accept
there it is. There it is.
and definitely call the office, set up an appointment. Let's get the ball rolling. If you have anyone that needs help, we're willing to provide services. And again, it's about making you the best you can be.
Right.
So we try to help walk this journey because life doesn't stop.
Right.
From school to parenting. That's one of the things I'm so excited about 2022, man, because we're going to have some incredible topics.
Right.
We're going to talk about parenting. We're going to talk about stress management. We're going to talk about anger management. We're going to talk about couples, marriages, relationships. I'm excited.
Different
for what-
lifestyles,
Different lifestyles.
how to deal with family members who have different lifestyle. The world is saying this, but that's your son, that's your daughter, that's your daddy, that's your mama. We're going to really, like you said, we're going to go into a lot of deep stuff.
And I'm
Family, we're
excited.
on every Wednesday. Every Wednesday.
Excited, man, because we're
Every
gonna bring
Wednesday.
people. I'm gonna bring people with me,
Yeah.
and we're gonna have people who have alternative lifestyles on here. You can ask questions. You, Brother Dupree, told me that in a minute we're gonna be able to have phone calls at some point.
Right. We
so
almost there. We almost there.
We're hoping that we can get to the point where we're addressing the topics that you're interested in. I stand, Brother Dupree. You can send an email to Positive Choices if there's a topic that you want us to discuss.
Right.
That we can actually get experts on. We're gonna get. I have a gentleman that's coming on. He's a financial planner, and this brother talks about how money affects your mental health.
Come on. And it does. It does. Think, listen. The holidays have just ended. Think about how many people right now are about to open up credit card statements. How many people are about to file for bankruptcy just because that they did not have good fiscal planning. I'm telling y'all, we got to talk about social media and this is what gets me.
Yeah.
You got people on social media using filters, and you got young girls who are trying to alter their bodies over women who have posted pictures with filters that they don't even look like that. Family, we've got to sit down and have some real conversation. Everything from, watch this. I'm in Lafayette, Louisiana. We just had a judge who got caught. National news got caught using gratuitously the N-word and calling a person a roach and the N-word. And now you've got probably people in the criminal justice system that have some type of anxiety because she did it and got caught, they're probably asking how many people doing it and don't get caught. So
Correct.
now you're wondering, when you go before somebody who's supposed to be fair and impartial and administrate justice, is mental, you're there mentally stressed out, going, I don't know if I'm really getting a fair handshake. I just don't know. You know, and that can be trying on anybody. You start asking yourself, well, why are these people arguing at home? He's mentally, or she's mentally stressed out. You know, think about it. Just think about sometimes how just certain demands from your family, and you.
I was about to say, you want to get a what they say, a pickle. What do you do when you have family you don't like? That, you know, people say, what? How do you not like your family? Oh, it's real easy. How do you cope being around someone that's related to you and you don't like them? People are like, but that's my brother. That's my sister. Yeah, what about it? Where is it written that you have to like them? So we have issues in society. We have issues in our lives that it is not a sign of weakness if you reach out for help. If you reach out to professionals that can help you understand some of the things that life throw at you. I've been a mental health professional for over 30 years. I have seen some things that has caused me to need to get some help. I've been a part of situations that I wish had turned out better with families. I tell couples all the time, you know, just because you come to counseling does not mean you won't end up in divorce. But we are going to do everything within our power to help you meet your goals. If being a better, well-rounded couple is your goal, we're going to do our best at Positive Choices. But what I want and what I push is that I want everybody to be a better individual. If you can be the best you can be, the rest of things around you will receive the benefit of that.
Come on.
Do you understand what I'm saying? If you are the best you can be, then the other things around you will receive the benefit of that. And that's our goal at Positive Choices. And that's our goal every Wednesday night when Brother Dupree and I get together for these Wellness Wednesdays, is to give you information that will help you be the best you. I'm looking forward to 2022 and things that we're going to accomplish with these podcasts. I look forward, and I hope that everybody that's on tonight tell somebody. And again, if you weren't and are not able, there's other podcasts that we did last year.
Right.
You can go back and review. Trust me, there was good information, just like there was good information tonight. I look forward to seeing everybody next week. Brother Dupree, we got a lot to cover, man, this year. It's going to be a productive year. I feel it.
I got to throw this out here. We've got one of our listeners said, I sure would love for you all to do a topic on how to deal with narcissistic people.
Oh, baby. If you know a true narcissist, that right there is an experience within itself. You know, that is an experience within itself. Everything wrong in the world is you. Everything right in the world is me. That's the way. That's not a basis, just a start of what a narcissist. We'll definitely put that on our list on how to deal and, you know, actually what is a narcissist.
Right.
So yeah, we can put that on our list.
Right. And there's some things, you know, I had a show last night that we did with a very good friend of mine, Brother Fatim Muhammad from WBLS in New York. We had from Keep 'em Talking Media, talk show host at KNEK Magic 1047, Kenneth Boudreau, and we were talking about racism. And, you know, and here's the crazy thing. We're going to really have to start defining what some of these terms are, like narcissist, racist. We're going to have to start to, you know, because sometimes what the definition really is and who you're saying this person is not what it is.
Bipolar. It would shock you if you really know what bipolar individual is.
Right. So we're going to really get into some great conversation. It's only an hour. we recommend that you share this with a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend. Listen, there are a lot of people out there hurting mental health wise, and they don't know where to go to or who to go to for help. That's why we got together and decided to do this. You know, we talk about everything.
Everything.
We get on here, we talk about sports, we talk about this. We're trying to talk about something that may save someone you know,
Exactly.
someone you love, someone from either falling deep into depression or committing suicide. Listen, I think I think we had a young lady from Opelousas, and it wasn't too very long ago. She literally went to Baton Rouge and jumped off the bridge. Family, if we can just reach out and touch someone like that and prevent one person, I know
Yep.
we can't save them all, but the object is share this with a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend. Every Wednesday, it's
Yeah.
Wellness Wednesday. We used
Yeah.
to do Mental Health Mondays. We switched it over to Wellness Wednesday. And as we get ready to get up out of here, and since it's my show and Dr. Brown's show, and we can do it how we want to, we're gonna stay just a little bit longer to let you know this. Going into Dr. Martin Luther King's holiday and Black History Month, we're going to start on these Wellness Wednesdays wanting you to take a friend
That's
or
right.
a family member
To the
to the
doctor.
doctor for their annual checkup. See, we have a terrible problem in our communities of not going to the doctor until it's too late, until things are at stage 7. You know, if it
17
right
sometimes.
until arm falling off, I might need to go to the doctor,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
knowing, I'm going to do that this year, and I'm going to do it, and I may take you along on the journey. You know,
I'm gonna videotape mine. I'm gonna videotape.
brothers, colon cancer is and prostate cancer is killing us. We
Yes.
got to get checked. We got to get checked. And you know what? If my journey will help you do what you need to do, we're gonna bring some women on here to talk about mammograms and about,
Absolutely.
cause sisters, we don't want y'all dying.
No.
We want you to live your best life. In 22, we want you to be the best you.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
22, we're gonna be the best you. With that being said, I'm gonna let my man, Brother Brown, close us out. Brother Brown, the floor is yours.
Listen, real brief. I just want everybody to realize you are not alone. You are not out here struggling with mental issues by yourself. Reach out, call someone, talk to someone, let someone know what's going on, and trust me, when you realize you can take a journey through life with someone who truly cares about you, who truly has compassion, it makes the journey just a little bit better. And if you don't have anyone, call someone at that website you see, Positive Choices Counseling Services, and we'll be here for you. So I appreciate everybody that's been sending in questions and that's tuning in to this podcast. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
That's it. Hey, nothing but love for y'all. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this with a friend. You know, I'm Mr. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm Mr. 25/8, 25 hours, 8 days straight. I'm grinding. So, definitely share this with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We will be back next Wednesday with more great information, with great content, and we'll be taking your questions. We'll be taking your concerns because a healthy you is a
Is
better
a better
you,
you.
and your mental health matters. So it's Wellness Wednesday, Positive Choices, Counseling Service, LLC. Yours truly, Joe Dupree from 100 BLK to Black Station. Got nothing but love for y'all. We out of here. Peace.